All right. Good afternoon once again. I am Sir Jude, and today I will finish my rediscussion of the only topic that we discussed this week, which is epicenter triangulation, but part two. So the reason why we have part two is because obviously, pagdating sa gantong lesson na pinaghalo-halong science, mathematics, TLE, even arts, and even AP because of the use of the maps and familiarization with countries, no? Is because, syempre, lots of you would be unsatisfied with just one problem. Okay, and then para, more practice. So, because our first sample problem was situated in the Philippines, we decided na for our second and final problem, lalabas naman tayo ng Philippines. So, international problem naman tayo. Let me read it for you. So, three seismic stations in North America detected the body waves of an earthquake with an unknown intensity and magnitude at around 6 o'clock a.m. Locate the epicenter where the earthquake originated. Right? So, let me tell you a description about our table first. So, the stations are CMB, DUG, and PAS. And here are their P wave and S wave arrivals. So as you notice, this time, compared to the first set of values in the first video, ang set of values natin, specifically in the P and S wave arrivals, they are in the hour, minute, and second format. That means di tayo pwede basta-bastang diretso kaagad sa pag-compute ng lag time. We have to analyze the time first. Okay? So let me start with CMB muna. Okay. So let me just cut to the chase, no? Lahat sila nagsisimula with 6 o'clock. So 6 ang ating hour. When you subtract each of them, each value, no, 6 will be cancelled. So let's rely on the seconds and let's see if we also rely on the minutes. So in CMB, ang second dito is simply 0 for the P wave arrival. For the S wave arrival, the second here is 28 seconds. Now, for DUG, okay, the time here, the time of S wave arrival, P wave arrival rather is 5 seconds, while the S wave arrival is 1 minute and 29 seconds. So it's not equivalent to 129 seconds. We have to do time conversion first. So remember, 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. And because we already have 29 seconds here, we have to add 60 and 29 seconds, and it will give you 89 seconds total. Now last, for PAS, no, the P wave arrival is 2 seconds, and the S wave arrival is 1 minute and 6 seconds. So how do we convert that to simply seconds? So 1 minute has 60 seconds, and the 6 here is already in seconds. So 60 plus 6 will give you 66 seconds. All right. So judging by these values alone, we can conclude that out of the three stations, the earliest one to detect the body waves is none other than CMB. Because kakasimula pa lang ng lindol at 0 second at exactly 6 o'clock a.m., nakadetect na siya agad ng P wave. Okay? Now, the latest station to detect and record the seismic wave is none other than DUG because it took 5 seconds out of the three stations. So, we now already have the times all in second, kaya it's time to compute the lag time. So, to solve for lag time, here's the formula. Lag time equals the time of arrival of the S wave minus the time of the arrival of the P wave. Okay. Let me start with CM. Okay. In CMB, we have 28 seconds. Sorry, palitan ko lang ng color. We have 28 seconds minus 0 seconds, giving you 28 seconds. With DUG, you have 89 seconds minus 5 seconds equals 84 seconds. And lastly, for PAS, you have 66 seconds minus 2 seconds, giving you 64 seconds. All right. So because we're done with the first set of calculations, it's time to move on to the distance from the epicenter. So how do we solve the distance from the epicenter? Okay. So to solve the distance from the epicenter, all you have to do is multiply the log time by a constant 12.5 kilometers per second. All right. Let me start with CMB. With CMB, you have 28 seconds times 12.5 kilometers per second. And the product is 350 kilometers. For DUG, you have 84 seconds times 12.5 kilometers per second, giving you 1,050 kilometers. Okay? And lastly, for PAS. For PAS, you have 64 seconds times 12.5 kilometers per second. And the product is 800 kilometers. Okay. So given the distances, we can assume that out of the three stations, CMB is the nearest to the epicenter because it is only 350 kilometers. And the farthest is DUG because it is 1,050 kilometers. Okay? But we cannot rely on those values when it comes to drawing the circles on the map because you have limited space on your maps. No? That's why you have to scale them down. So on the last set of calculations, to solve for the scale distance, all you have to do is simply divide the distance by 100 kilometers per centimeter. All right, let's start again with CMB. Okay, the CMB, you have 350 kilometers divided by 100 kilometer per centimeter. This will give you 3.5 centimeters. For DUG, you have 1,050 kilometers divided by 100 kilometer per centimeter. That will give you 10.5 centimeters. And lastly, for PAS, you have 800 kilometers divided by 100 kilometer per centimeter. And the quotient is none other than 8 centimeters. All right. And once you have those values, you are now ready for epicenter triangulation using your map of North America, featuring these three stations. Okay, so again, just like in the first video, I won't demonstrate to you how to use compass anymore because at this point, nakadalawang araw na tayo for this lesson, no? So for day 2, part 2 at the back, here are some of my representations. So CMB is whose radius is 3.5 centimeters, is represented by a purple circle. DUG, whose radius is 10.5 centimeters, is represented by the brown circle. And finally, you have PAS, in which its radius is 8 centimeters and represented by a black circle. No? So with that, these three circles intersect exactly at this point. The one that I marked with a star, and that star is considered the epicenter of the earthquake. Now, some follow-up questions. Number one, which station is the nearest from the earthquake's epicenter? So judging by the circles, by the map, and even your problem solving a while ago, CMB is the nearest from the earthquake's epicenter. Number two, which station is the farthest from the earthquake's epicenter? So again, judging by the map and the problem solving, the farthest is none other than DUG. Which station will be the least affected by the earthquake and why? So the least affected by the earthquake is the one that is the farthest from the epicenter because, syempre, nahihinaan yung impact dahil masyadong malayo, and that's none other than DUG. While the station that will be the most affected by the earthquake is none other than CMB because it is the nearest to it. Pag malapit, malakas ang impact. Okay, now additional follow-up questions from the two that we discussed on the first day. No? So, is epicenter triangulation 100% effective in locating the exact location of the earthquake's epicenter? If yes, why? If not, why not? Okay? So, in the first video, I discussed na only a few students were able to determine the exact location of the epicenter. While most, unfortunately, is actually inexact, but still near to the answer that I'm looking for. So, because hindi siya universal for every student, dahil iba-iba tayo with the way we navigate the compass using our hands, no? I would say that it is not actually 100% effective all the time. Para yung sabon, no? Na panligo and panglinis ng ating katawan is only 99.9. In the in the advertisement, I won't mention any endorsements. They're only 99.9% effective. There is a small chance na at the end of the day, hindi tayo totally 100% clean ng ating body. Meron pa rin yung impurities in the form of bacteria, dust, dirt, na hindi na kayang abutin at linisin ng ating sabon. In relation to our topic, no, regardless of how you beautifully draw the circles, it really depends on the way you use the compass. Okay? But realistically, no, because nasa ibabaw tayo ng crust, we cannot determine which specific point in the crust kung saan talaga yung actual epicenter na pinanggalingan. Okay? And kung gaano siya kaliit or kalawak. Now, follow-up to that is question number 2. Why do seismologists still triangulate the epicenter even if it is not 100% effective in locating its exact location? So, to be fair, no, syempre, classroom discussion ito. Hindi tayo gumagamit ng seismograph. Hindi kasing state-of-the-art and kasing ganda and let's say groundbreaking yung ginagamit, of course, sa mga seismic stations. But still, we rely on epicenter triangulation for disaster risk and reduction most of as the ultimate answer here because hindi natin mapipigilan ng earthquakes. Nasa Pacific Ring of Fire tayo. And as we will discuss on the next lesson after long test, there's a reason why behind the active plates in the Pacific Ring of Fire. So we cannot escape natural disasters. However, we can prevent it. All right, especially knowing that we have active faults in the Philippines, you can relocate and evacuate from the most active fault, no? And especially if you have relatives and loved ones from the other side of the country or other side of the city or whatever, you can alert them, inform them. Okay? So yes, hindi siya 100% effective all the time, but you can still use it, weaponize it for everyone's safety, precaution, and preparation. Okay, now, additional follow-up questions. So please choose the words that will make the sentence correct. So the nearer a station is to the epicenter, the earlier or the later it receives the seismic waves, and the lesser or the greater the chance of it being affected by the earthquake. So kung mas malapit ka sa ang stasyon, sa epicenter, and therefore mas maaga nitong nare-receive at nade-detect ang seismic waves, at mas malakas ang tsansa nito na maapektuhan ng lindol. No? Kaya, the words that will make the sentence correct in this paragraph, or in this sentence rather, is are earlier, and greater. By contrast, no? The farther a station is to the epicenter, the later it receives the seismic waves, and the lesser the chances of it being affected by the earthquake. No? So, syempre, pag mas malayo ka sa epicenter ng earthquake, medyo mahuhuli ka sa pag-detect or pag-record ng seismic waves, at dahil doon, mas mahina ang impact na makakamdaman mo ng lindol mula sa lindol. Alright, and there you go. Tapos na tayo with our lesson about epicenter triangulation. So, the next days will be uh, busy because of the NCAI dry run and the 2-day actual NCAI examination. That means magkikita na tayo sa Monday next week. And be ready because we will have your performance task 1.2 by group and your long test 1.2 by pair. Till then, I'm Sir Jude and have a happy day. Goodbye.